Next time you're in Dollar Tree, head on over to their wood crafts section and grab some of their wood blanks, or all the blanks really, because they got so many goodies to craft with. But how about these? Are we including these in wood blanks? I kind of feel like they are. Well, for today's video, we're going to include them and need 6 of these to start out with, but we'll need 8 total. For this large wall shelf, you can remix the colors to fit whatever decor you would like. I'm going to keep mine neutral with a little bit of a modern touch, and we're going to start off by just flipping them over onto their backside. For the attachments, I'm going to start off by taking some Titebond Quick and Thick and putting it in all the little seams where these palettes are going to be attached to each other. When I was happy with how the first 4 were attached, I then brought on in the stapler. Now we're gonna need some extra attachments, just not some hot glue or some, wood glue. We need them staples. However, I wish I could make this stuff up. The stapler! It really is a stapler. I love the stapler though. But look at that, 2 at a time, come on. If that does ever happen to you, just grab a little hammer and just a little tappity tap 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 and it'll go right on down. I let that dry for about 30 minutes and then grabbed 2 more palettes. Added some more wood glue to the bottom here. And people, I'm going to be so real with y'all. I did not measure this, but you can see that I am putting staples up through. I eyeballed it, I wung it, and I wung it so good. I rarely ever wing stuff enough that I don't have staples popping through where I don't want them. But for this one, I did pretty good. Then I took some more of that wood glue and put on the sections of the bottom that I knew were going to touch these other 2 palettes. So this way we had more palettes underneath the shelf lip that we created. I even grabbed a little paintbrush and took a minute just kind of painting it on there, and I let that dry for about 30 minutes. And then I went and found my miter shears and brought them on in. So we could cut down these square dowel rods I picked up from Hobby Lobby. Now you can get these types of things at Walmart and Home Depot. And if you don't want to use these, you could absolutely take some towering tumbling blocks and line your shelf on the edges with those. But as you see here, it's just simpler for me to kind of take this one whole piece and then chop it down where I need to be able to attach it. And believe it or not, people, these particular dowels at Hobby Lobby were only 99 cents. Now they have different sizes, so the prices range, but for 99 cents I grabbed them joints. Plus they're gonna work perfectly for our frame, and for that modern touch, I'm just giving them a nice coat of black paint. To attach the frame, I just used some more of that wood glue with a little bit of hot glue for an instant hold, and grabbed my sawtooth hammer and hangers, and I do believe these are down in my Amazon affiliate link in the description box, to hammer in on the back so this way we could hang our beautiful shelf on the wall. These large wood planks at Dollar Tree can be used for so many different DIYs. I'm going to be sharing this super easy and high-end stand idea with you. You're going to need a base. I grabbed these from my stash, use whatever you would like, and then the edges on these are pretty rough, so I'm going to sand them down just a little bit. You don't have to if you don't want to. For the color, I'm going to just use some Antique Waverly Wax with a baby wipe. I applied 2 thin coats. You can absolutely take this idea and remix it using whatever color you would like, or paint it if you don't want to stain it. The idea is totally remixable and customizable. To attach our base, I'm just going to use some of Titebond Quick and Thick Wood Glue along with my hot glue. So this way we get a nice long hold and we get a quick hold. You can absolutely, like I said, use whatever way you want to create a kickstand. Dollar Tree also has like the little chalkboards with kickstand. I think I had some of them in my stash too, but I just figured I'd use this. Then take you some nautical rope. This is just some regular little rope I had, some rope twine I think is what it's called, in my stash, and just wrapped it around like 3 times and then tied a little bow on here. This stuff is definitely not stiff at all, so my bow was a little limp. You could use this idea for several different things. Photos would be a great way to be displayed on this piece, but I just decided to pop a couple floral pieces in here and absolutely love how elegant this looks. Lately, when I've been out shopping, I've been seeing these square risers. And if you're familiar with me, I love making risers, but I've yet to make one of these. So when I was in Dollar Tree recently and seeing these square large blanks, I was like, oh, we're picking up some of these because I have an idea. We are going to need 2 of these actually, and I'm going to be using one of these little square dowels. It was only 99 cents from Hobby Lobby. You could use tumbling tower blocks if you want. And to cut this dowel down, we're going to need to bring on in the miter shears. I mean, you can use whatever you want, but around here I use the miter shears. It cuts dowels down pretty well. I marked it to size and I cut out 4 sections, 2 the same size to go on one end and then 2 a little bit shorter. To glue everything together, I'm going to be using a little bit of Titebond wood glue, their little quick and thick formula. I love this stuff. And some hot glue to get an immediate hold. Once I put everything on here, I was a little skeptical if I had a really good hold, so I went and grabbed some clamps just to put into place and allow this to set for about 3 hours. For the legs, I'm going to be using these little pieces right here I picked up from Hobby Lobby. Now you can absolutely use some of Dollar Tree snowmen and flip them upside down if you would like. I use them all the time. I just wanted to use these, but use whatever you would like for the legs. I want to fill the holes in, so I'm going to use some of this lightweight spackling I pick up from Walmart for just a couple dollars to do that. At this point, you could just set it to the side to dry, but I'm gonna take some of these little accented pieces I picked up from Hobby Lobby and glue them down with some Gorilla Glue gel on the edges. If you don't have these or a Hobby Lobby local to you, you could absolutely do some clay molds and put them in the corners as well. Dollar Tree also has really amazing ornate stickers you could do the same with. Paint your piece whatever color you would like. Once everything's dry, I went with white, and then I wanted to just bring out some of those accents, so I grabbed my Dixie Belle gilding wax in the silver and did just that. This is absolutely stunning. For this fall decor sign, we're going to need one of Dollar Tree's large square blanks. I'm removing the tag because I don't plan on hanging mine. You can keep it if you want, and then pick a color. I'm going to use this. I've been really in love with this kind of color for a couple months now, and I'm just using a little bit of this with a baby wipe to get a nice coat on this entire blank. You're going to be able to see the wood grain through this a little bit, which is exactly what I want. If you want solid coverage, make sure you paint it without any water. When it's dry, grab yourself a stencil. Any stencil, I just wanted to use this one. I really like this piece. And then tape it down. I'm gonna use some of my homemade texture paste. You guys could absolutely just paint yours, or I also keep a link down in my Amazon affiliate link in the description box. Just click the more button. I usually use Tim Holtz brand pretty often. That's pretty great as well if you don't want to make your own. While that was drying, I wanted to make a big, gorgeous, giant bow, okay? But me knowing me is really aware that I can't. So I grabbed some of this Dollar Tree fabric that I had that has a beautiful color on it and started snipping it in bits, because I might not be able to make a big, giant, gorgeous bow, but I sure can layer me some bits and make me a nice, messy bow. I didn't show it here, but I want to let y'all know that I'm using tacky glue for this and a paintbrush, and you'll see that I am like painting it on the fabric plus the wood, and I'm doing this for each strip. I've been doing this long enough to know that hot glue is just not going to cut it, especially if I wanted to put this on a door or put it in a window, or if I'm going to sell it and they want to hang it or put it somewhere where sun's going to get to it. Those bits are just going to fall apart. So tacky glue is just going to make me feel fuzzy inside, and while it is messy and it is a pain when you're doing projects like this, I also know that it is going to withstand whatever it's going to be placed in. Absolutely love how stunning this piece turned out, and it was really fun and simple to do. These right here are some of my favorite wood blanks that Dollar Tree has right now. For this project, we're gonna need 2 of them, and we're gonna turn them into a pumpkin. I'm gonna use a little bit of wood glue and some hot glue to attach these two by just smushing them together. Once they were dry, I grabbed some of my Waverly chalk paint in the orange, and I gave this a nice rustic coat using a baby wipe. You could absolutely use a paintbrush and paint this on. This is just what I chose to do. It allows that wood grain to kind of pop through, and as you can see here, I'm able to paint this pretty quickly with just a baby wipe. When I was happy with that coverage, I then grabbed a little bit of white paint on a paintbrush and went all around the edges where some of that wood was showing. This is going to allow me to kind of blend some of Antique's Waverly wax around the edges and get a very mute brown color while it's still having that rustic edge feel. I did not have any molds I liked in particular. I would have absolutely put a nice clay mold around the edge of this beautiful pumpkin, but I decided it was fine just the way that it was. You can see here how there's some of that white and some of the dark kind of popping through around the edge. You can do this as much as you would like to create it as dark as you would like, or keep it as light as you would like. For the stem, I kind of just went fishing in my little wood bits that I had here. I wasn't really sure what I was going for. You could absolutely use whatever stem you would like. I decided to go with this little one right here that had a hole in it, and you don't see me on camera do it, but I took a half of wooden bead and put right over the top of that hole so you couldn't see it. I decided I wanted to put a little accent on our pumpkin, so I grabbed a damask stencil and taped it down as best as I could in the spot that I wanted, and then grabbed my homemade texture paste to put a little raised stencil right on this section. You could use paint if you want. It does not have to be texture paste. It's completely up to you. I put a small thin layer here, And if you want, you could absolutely put another one on the back. I love how simple this turned out. I added just a little bit of accents around our stem here, and I left the back completely blank. This way, if we wanted to switch it out and we didn't want to have that fancy schmancy side going on there, we could most certainly turn it around and be extremely rustic and still love our little DIY pumpkin. If you're looking for more Dollar Tree inspiration, check out this video right here. And as always, people, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today. And until next time.